Hello everyone, this is Ariel Tayeb. In this video I'm going to show you the fourth game of the World Chess Championship match between Magnus Carlsen and Jan Nepo. And the first three games were drawn, so it's 1.5 points each. And in this game, Carlsen had the white pieces and he started with e4. Nepo played e5, knight f3, and knight f6. This is the Russian defense. Actually, when Nepo had the white pieces, Carlsen played knight to c6, and we had the real Lopez. But in this game, we have knight f6, knight xe5, and d6. I know some of you might like to play the Stanford Gambit, but typically it's not working on grandmasters. So d6, knight f3, knight xe4, d4, d5. This is pretty much the main line. Bishop d3, bishop d6, castling on the king side by both sides. c4 trying to undermine the center, and if black takes, then simply the knight on e4 is hanging. So c6, rook to e1 attacking the knight, threatening to win a pawn, bishop f5 defending, and now queen to b3. The point of queen b3 only now is because once the bishop moves from c8, is no longer guarding the b7 square, so now queen b3 attacks the b7 pawn, and also increase the pressure on d5. So it looks so Nepo simply played queen d7, and the point here is, well, I would let you figure it out by your own. Why white cannot win a pawn on d5? I mean, he can take on d5 with c takes d5, but why he is not really winning a pawn? So pause the video and try to find it out. Okay, I hope you found it. The point here is after cd5, queen d5, the queens are on the same line. So bishop takes on h2 with check, and then simply taking the queen. So after this position, in this position, knight c3 was played, knight takes c3, and in between move, bishop takes on f5, attacking the queen, queen takes f5, and now b takes c3. I know white has some double pawns, but the pawn on c5 is not going to stay here forever. I mean, there is a forced trade that is going to happen. Excuse me, not immediately, but eventually white will exchange the c pawn. So the b7 pawn is still under attack, so b6, and now c takes d5, c takes d5, and queen to b5, trying to prevent the knight from developing either to c6 or a6. So queen d7, and again, white can take on d5, but it's not recommended because of bishop takes on h2 and the queen is lost. So in the game, white played a4, queen takes b5, a takes b5, and a5. Yeah, black's trying to create a passed pawn, and white didn't really want to take it because after rook takes, knight takes, it seemed like white didn't achieve a lot in this position. Like black is going to play b5, b4 and undermine this pawn chain. Or maybe Nepo had another idea. So after black played a5, Carlsen played knight h4, threatening to go to the f5 square, g6, and now g4. And the idea is to clear the g2 square for the knight. Knight to d7, knight to g2, rook to c8, and now bishop to f4. The bishop on d6 is hanging, so bishop takes on f4, and now knight takes on f4, attacking the pawn on d5. So rook takes on c3, knight takes on d5, rook to d3, and now rook to e7, counter-attacking the knight on d7. And of course, black cannot win a pawn because then we can simply take the knight. And the rook is defending the knight on d7. So black played knight f8, knight to f6 check, king to g7, knight to e8 check, king to g8, and now d5. The pawn is on d5 is defended tactically because if rook takes d5, then simply knight f6 is a fork. So after d5, a4 by black. Black is trying to create some counterplay. Knight f6 check, king g7, and now g5, cementing the knight on f6. a3 by black, and in this position they simply repeated moves and agreed to a draw. I'm not sure if it was a threefold repetition or rather they just agreed to a draw. Yeah, I mean, Carlsen could try to win this. For example, here he could try, for example, d6, and again with the same idea, the pawn is tactically defended because of knight e8 with a fork, but black could play just knight e6, and it's kind of hard to see how white is going to make any progress. White can try d7 and then rook e8, but black can simply take the pawn on g5. And the knight on f6 is hanging. White can try rook e8, but now simply rook a5, attacking the pawn on b5, and if white promotes, then rook takes, and king takes f6, and if you count the material at this point, you will see that Well, white is up the exchange, but white is down 2 pawns, and the pawn on b5 is also extremely vulnerable. And it's kind of hard to see how white is going to make any progress. Even Carlsen didn't want to go for this position, and Carlsen always tries to win if he can. So at this position, after at this position they just repeated moves and agreed to a draw. That's all for today. I hope you liked this video. And if you did, drop a like to this video and subscribe to this channel, because I'm uploading videos, I mean, not every single day, but very often. So consider subscribing. That's all for today, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.